Whisper across the timeline is that Chrisean Rock finally pulled up somewhere she was not welcome, and the ceiling caved in on her the second she opened her mouth. Sources are alleging that Chrisean Rock strolled into Dean the Great's warehouse with that same crash-out energy she brings to every single room, tried to hijack an entire training session with AB, and within hours Dean the Great physically had her escorted out of the building. And sis, that is a whole other galaxy of embarrassment, because we are not talking about a small stream, we are not talking about a random link-up. We are talking about Chrisean Rock getting removed from Dean the Great's own house of business in front of the internet, on camera, in real time. Allegedly, y'all. And I do mean allegedly. But when the receipts are dropping from AB himself, from Dean the Great himself, from the production team that had to sit and text each other while Chrisean Rock was funking up the room, boo, this is not some hearsay flying in the wind. This is Chrisean Rock getting exposed in the very warehouse where she thought she was going to steal a moment. Cast your mind back to how this even started. Chrisean Rock had been circling AB for weeks. Chrisean Rock had already pulled up once, and everyone with two working eyes saw Chrisean Rock trying to insert herself in the middle of Dean the Great and AB's whole operation. The first day, AB gave Chrisean Rock a pass, because AB is a legend, and legends have grace. But Dean the Great, come to find out, was not with any of it, and Dean the Great is the one who signs the checks for that entire building. So when Chrisean Rock came rolling back on day 2, uninvited, with her cameras up, with her attitude out, with that same wild-eyed swagger she uses to break up rooms, Dean the Great looked her dead in the face, texted the whole production, and said, in so many words, this energy is off, this energy is dangerous, this energy is not training friendly, get her out. And when the door hit Chrisean Rock behind her, y'all know what she did next. Chrisean Rock did what Chrisean Rock always does when Chrisean Rock is caught in her own mess. Chrisean Rock ran to the camera and started spinning the story. Now peep this, Chrisean Rock immediately pulled up on her own stream and started painting Dean the Great as this jealous, insecure little boy who could not handle a bigger star pulling up to his warehouse. Chrisean Rock said Dean the Great was texting the production team like a little kid tattling on a classmate. Chrisean Rock said Dean the Great was mad because AB was giving her attention. Chrisean Rock said Dean the Great was afraid of her wattage. And boo, listen. When Chrisean Rock is lying, Chrisean Rock does this thing where she swallows hard, mid-sentence, over and over, like the truth is a rock in her own throat, and that is exactly what Chrisean Rock was doing on that stream. Chrisean Rock never finished a single sentence. Chrisean Rock never landed a single receipt. Chrisean Rock kept looking off camera. Chrisean Rock kept swallowing. Chrisean Rock kept resetting. And any of us who have followed Chrisean Rock for more than 5 minutes know exactly what that means. Chrisean Rock was lying. Chrisean Rock was building a whole fantasy in real time, allegedly, y'all, and I do mean allegedly. But the internet did not have to wait long, because Dean the Great was not about to eat that narrative in silence. Dean the Great came on his own stream, looked into that camera with that calm, tired, we have been through this 1,000 times energy, and Dean the Great said the quiet part out loud. Dean the Great said Chrisean Rock violated the NDA. Chrisean Rock signed papers. Chrisean Rock knew the rules. Chrisean Rock knew the warehouse was a closed set. And Chrisean Rock still went outside, still went live, still leaked the location, still tried to drag Dean the Great's team through the mud. Dean the Great said Chrisean Rock was rude to his people, entitled to his time, and disrespectful of the entire operation. And here is where it gets real, because Dean the Great didn't even stop at the NDA. Dean the Great said, and I quote in spirit, that Chrisean Rock was doctoring text messages. Dean the Great said the messages Chrisean Rock was flashing on her stream weren't even from his number. Dean the Great said, I don't even have your number, Chrisean. Sis. Let that sit in your soul for one whole second. Because here is the thing about Chrisean Rock that a lot of these streamers keep forgetting until it is too late. Chrisean Rock has a whole documented history of playing on people's phones. Chrisean Rock has been caught, more than once, allegedly manufacturing fake text screenshots. Chrisean Rock has a rap sheet of chaotic liar behavior a mile long. And every single time Chrisean Rock gets caught in the funk, Chrisean Rock reaches for the same 3 tools, a fake screenshot, a big name drop, and a victim story. Every single time. That is not a coincidence. That is a business model. And that business model has a name, and that name is Chrisean Rock. Matter of fact, we've been hearing that AB himself, the man Chrisean Rock claims was on her side, was ready for Chrisean Rock to leave that warehouse too. There's a whole clip floating around where Dean the Great tells AB, on camera, she won't take a shower, bro, and AB busts out laughing. Not a polite laugh. Not a soft laugh. AB let out that deep, exhausted, we are not doing this today laugh. AB was over Chrisean Rock. AB was done with the funk in the room. AB was done with the disrespect toward Dean the Great's team. AB was done with the stunt queen energy. And that is the part Chrisean Rock does not want you to focus on. Because if you focus on that, the entire Dean the Great was jealous of me story collapses, and Chrisean Rock is standing in the middle of a warehouse full of grown men, all of whom wanted her gone. Not one man defending her. Not one voice in that room raising a hand for her. Silence. Which, if you know how Hollywood works, sis, silence in a room full of men is the loudest verdict a woman like Chrisean Rock can receive. Anyway now, back when Chrisean Rock first pulled up, she came in with flowers. Chrisean Rock came in with a hug. Chrisean Rock came in acting like she and Dean the Great were peers, colleagues, partners. Chrisean Rock has been telling her audience that Dean the Great is a nobody, that Dean the Great is a small streamer, that Dean the Great needs her to move his numbers. But sis, that math is not mathing. Because Dean the Great was streaming solo before AB ever stepped foot in that building, and Dean the Great's solo numbers still eat Chrisean Rock's numbers for breakfast, lunch and dinner. Dean the Great is funnier than Chrisean Rock. Dean the Great is faster than Chrisean Rock. Dean the Great has an actual production team behind him, whiteboards, NDAs, contracts, a warehouse, a brand. Chrisean Rock has a webcam, a bad attitude, and a Yahweh soundtrack she plays while brushing her teeth on the sidewalk. That is the resume, y'all. That is the entire portfolio. Baddies, a few podcast interviews, some back of the club performances, and being Blueface's baby mama. That is Chrisean Rock's Wikipedia page in full. There is nothing else on the page. There is no album we can name. There is no acting credit we can name. There is no business venture we can name that has not ended in either a lawsuit or a viral clip of a meltdown. That is not a career. That is a highlight reel of red flags. And this is where the story turns, because Chrisean Rock is not walking around telling people she is a household name off of nothing. Chrisean Rock is walking around telling people she is bigger than Dean the Great because Chrisean Rock has convinced herself that being loud is the same thing as being large. Loud is not large, sis. Loud is just loud. Anyone can be loud. What Chrisean Rock is actually famous for is a list of things that would end most careers before they even started, abusing her own child in the womb, allegedly, y'all, and I do mean allegedly. Neglecting that same child after he was born, allegedly. Falling off dirt bikes in Miami last week for views. Shaving her arms in the middle of the street. Brushing her teeth in the middle of the street. Taking a shower outside on the internet. Picking her own eyelashes out one by one until she is walking around with 5 stray lashes on each eye looking bugged out on camera. That is what Chrisean Rock is famous for. That is not a resume. That is a cautionary tale. That is not a portfolio. That is a psychiatric case study. And a lot of us have been saying it for a while, but the streaming community keeps letting Chrisean Rock walk into rooms as if none of that is on her tape. Now peep this. The second Chrisean Rock realized Dean the Great was not going to fold, Chrisean Rock reached for her favorite tool in the entire kit. Chrisean Rock started name-dropping. Chrisean Rock jumped on her stream and started telling everyone that Speedy, yes, that Speedy, the one they call Tory Lanez's uncle, had pulled Dean the Great aside on her behalf. Chrisean Rock said Speedy checked Dean the Great, told Dean the Great to respect her, told Dean the Great this is LA, this is real life, watch your mouth. Chrisean Rock said Dean the Great even gave her a hug after Speedy stepped in, but Chrisean Rock also said Dean the Great was salty about it. Boo. Do you hear the fanfic in real time? Do you hear Chrisean Rock building a whole Marvel Cinematic Universe out of a conversation that half of us doubt even happened? Because this is Chrisean Rock's move. This is Chrisean Rock's signature. Whenever Chrisean Rock gets embarrassed, Chrisean Rock has to make a bigger name step in and defend her. Cast your mind back to when Chrisean Rock was going at Lil Meech for that Zeus reunion bag. Chrisean Rock swore up and down that Diddy himself snatched Lil Meech up at a party and threatened him on her behalf. Chrisean Rock will drop any name, in any city, in any decade, if it makes her look protected. Diddy. Speedy. Tory Lanez. Blueface. Whoever is trending, whoever is powerful, whoever cannot immediately clap back on camera, Chrisean Rock will insert their name into her personal drama like a bouncer she rented for the afternoon. But here is where it gets crazy, and this is the part nobody is talking about yet. Because if we are being real forensic about it, Chrisean Rock did not just name-drop Speedy for cover. Chrisean Rock also, in that same rant, all but confirmed that she was being coached, in real time, on how to handle Dean the Great by somebody off camera. Chrisean Rock kept referencing text messages Mia was sending her while she was live. Chrisean Rock kept saying, "He told me, he texted me, he said this was okay." Now who is he, sis? Because that is not one voice in Chrisean Rock's ear. That is a whole silent production team feeding Chrisean Rock the script from the wings, and Chrisean Rock is out here reading their lines like an audiobook that skipped a chapter. That is why nothing lines up. That is why the story keeps changing. That is why Chrisean Rock keeps swallowing mid-sentence. Chrisean Rock is not the author of her own scandal anymore. Chrisean Rock is the reader. And the ghostwriters behind Chrisean Rock are not journalists, they are opportunists. And boo, that is a whole other layer of ugly. Come to find out, this is a pattern. This is not a one-off. This is not a bad day. This is who Chrisean Rock is at her operating temperature. Every stream Chrisean Rock has ever done with another streamer, that stream has ended in blood. Every collab Chrisean Rock has ever agreed to, that collab has fallen apart on camera. Every warehouse, every set, every studio Chrisean Rock has walked into, Chrisean Rock has left in flames. Chrisean Rock is not a colleague. Chrisean Rock is a demolition team. And the streaming community keeps handing Chrisean Rock the keys to their buildings like they haven't been warned. Anyway, boo, let me be clear, Dean the Great is not the first person to notice. Dean the Great is just the first person with the receipts, the NDA, and the legal spine to say it out loud on camera. There have been podcast hosts who quietly refused to invite her back. There have been streamers who scrubbed her clips off their channels the very next day. There have been production companies who let her booking get lost in email. All of it has been happening for a while. Dean the Great is just the man who finally said it into a microphone. And here is where it gets uglier. Chrisean Rock already has, by a conservative count, 5 or 6 lawsuits stacked against her name right now. Add that to Dean the Great mentioning the NDA violation on his own stream, and Chrisean Rock might have just walked herself into lawsuit number 7, live, on her own broadcast. Chrisean Rock filmed herself in front of Dean the Great's warehouse. Chrisean Rock filmed herself leaking the location. Chrisean Rock read out, text messages that Dean the Great is publicly denying are his. Every one of those clips is now evidence. Every one of those clips is now discovery. Every single stream Chrisean Rock did that day is now a piece of paper that Dean the Great's legal team can point at. And Chrisean Rock filmed it all herself. Sis, when I tell you nobody has ever been more of a witness against themselves than Chrisean Rock, I mean nobody. Chrisean Rock is her own subpoena. Chrisean Rock is her own courtroom exhibit. Chrisean Rock walked into that warehouse and voluntarily became state's evidence number 1. And she did it live. In HD. With a ring light. But listen, sis, let me be fair for 1 second. Chrisean Rock is not stupid. Chrisean Rock is calculating. Chrisean Rock knows exactly what she is doing when she rolls into a room like that. Chrisean Rock knows the cameras are on. Chrisean Rock knows the algorithm rewards chaos. Chrisean Rock has built an entire career on being the woman who cannot be handled, and there is a piece of her audience that eats every crumb of it. That is why Chrisean Rock keeps getting invited back. That is why streamers keep giving Chrisean Rock chance number 19. Because on paper, Chrisean Rock still moves numbers. On paper, Chrisean Rock still spikes a live count. And in this economy, some streamers will trade their piece, their team's piece, and their brand's piece for one spike in the concurrent viewer count. That is the honest truth of it. But Dean the Great is not most streamers. Dean the Great built that warehouse with his own money. Dean the Great built that production with his own team. Dean the Great is not trading his brand for a 15-minute Chrisean Rock spike. Dean the Great told Chrisean Rock exactly what a lot of people should have told Chrisean Rock a long time ago. You cannot pull up to my house, disrespect my staff, break the paperwork you signed, leak my address on your phone, and expect me to smile through it. That was not a tantrum, that was a boundary. And a lot of grown men in this industry are watching Dean the Great and taking notes. Come to find out, this is the exact reason Chrisean Rock keeps burning bridges with every single collab she attempts. Chrisean Rock cannot help herself. Chrisean Rock walks into every partnership already scheming on how to make the whole thing about Chrisean Rock. Chrisean Rock will play her Yahweh song in someone else's studio like it is her sanctuary. Chrisean Rock will pray on camera like a preacher, and then 30 seconds later be dragging somebody's mama through the timeline. And even AB called Chrisean Rock out for that Christianity fraud act on this exact trip. AB, quietly, gently, on camera, told Chrisean Rock she was faking that whole holier-than-thou performance. The man Chrisean Rock swears was on her side. AB clocked her too. Say his name 3 times, sis, because AB was the last lifeline in that building, and even AB let go of the rope. Now let me also say this, because I know some of y'all in the comments are already typing, but Chrisean Rock has been through a lot. And boo, we hear you. We know Chrisean Rock's childhood was hard. We know Chrisean Rock's relationship with Blueface was, in itself, a documentary of red flags. We know Chrisean Rock has been in and out of situations that would break a stronger woman. And that is real. That deserves acknowledgement. But sis, being a survivor of chaos does not give you a permanent license to become the chaos in every room you walk into. Trauma explains behavior. Trauma does not excuse behavior. Chrisean Rock is not the first woman to survive Blueface. Chrisean Rock is not the first woman to survive a public relationship. But Chrisean Rock is choosing to weaponize the sympathy those years earned her against every single professional who tries to work with her. Dean the Great is not Blueface. Dean the Great is not the streets. Dean the Great is a professional man with a professional team, and Chrisean Rock walked in there like it was open mic night at the Roscoe's parking lot. That is the choice. That is the pattern. And at some point, a woman in her 20s does not get to keep blaming a man from her past for the fire she is setting in the present. So let's put the whole receipts on the table one more time, y'all, so nobody can twist the timeline. Chrisean Rock pulled up uninvited on day 2. Chrisean Rock disrespected the team. Chrisean Rock funked up the room. Chrisean Rock violated the NDA. Chrisean Rock leaked the warehouse address. Chrisean Rock allegedly doctored the text messages. Chrisean Rock lied on Dean the Great. Chrisean Rock dropped Speedy's name for cover. Chrisean Rock dropped Tory Lanez's name for weight. Chrisean Rock even reached back for the Diddy card just in case. Chrisean Rock pulled the same playbook Chrisean Rock always pulls. And Chrisean Rock lost. Chrisean Rock lost the room. Chrisean Rock lost the collab. Chrisean Rock lost the sympathy of AB. Chrisean Rock lost Dean the Great. Chrisean Rock might have lost her next case. And Chrisean Rock is still walking around online telling anyone who will listen that she is the victim in all of this. That is the level of delusion we are working with. Sis, the door hit you on the way out because you were still trying to argue with the doorframe. And this is why every single streamer who is even thinking about booking Chrisean Rock for their next stream needs to slide back through this timeline and take notes. Because you are not booking a guest. You are booking a hurricane in a wig. You are booking a lawsuit in waiting. You are booking a person who will show up, film your address, mock your staff, misquote your texts, and then run to her own channel to tell the internet you were the problem. This is not a partnership. This is a trap. And every streamer who keeps giving Chrisean Rock this chance is not just risking their brand, they are risking their peace of mind, their team's morale, and their entire production budget. Dean the Great learned the lesson in less than 48 hours. AB is quietly learning it too. The next streamer in line should learn it before they ever open that DM. Chrisean Rock is not a link-up. Chrisean Rock is a liability. Chrisean Rock is not content. Chrisean Rock is a court date with a ring light. And let me tell you something else, boo, because I have been in this comment section too long to pretend I don't see it. There is a whole army of Chrisean Rock defenders who are going to march into this video and try to spin the tape. They are going to say Dean the Great is a hater. They are going to say AB is a hater. They are going to say they are going to say the girlies covering this story are just haters. They are going to say the internet is misogynistic. They are going to say the world doesn't let black women be complicated. And baby, listen, black women being complicated is not the issue. Black women deserve nuance, always. Black women deserve grace, always. But black women also deserve to not be dragged into rooms by a woman who thinks disrespect is a personality trait. There is a difference between complicated and combustible. Chrisean Rock is combustible. And every time somebody tries to give Chrisean Rock nuance, Chrisean Rock lights the nuance on fire on her own stream. So no, this is not misogyny. This is a mirror. And a lot of people are refusing to look into it. And here is my closing verdict, boo, and I want y'all to sit with it. Dean the Great was not wrong. Dean the Great was not jealous. Dean the Great was not insecure. Dean the Great was simply the first man in that room with enough courage, enough production budget, and enough legal armor to say the sentence out loud that everyone in Chrisean Rock's orbit has been thinking for years. Get her out. And when a whole roomful of grown, professional, income-generating people all quietly agree that one person needs to leave the building, that person is not a star being bullied. That person is a fire that needs to be walked out before it burns the roof off. Chrisean Rock is that fire. Chrisean Rock has been that fire. Chrisean Rock will keep being that fire until the streaming community collectively decides they are done handing her matches. And I promise y'all, one of these days, one of these lawsuits is going to land in a way Chrisean Rock cannot spin, cannot name drop out of, cannot fake text her way out of, and cannot cry her way past. And on that day, sis, none of us are going to be shocked. None of us are going to be surprised. And none of us are going to feel sorry for Chrisean Rock, because Chrisean Rock had every warning, every off-ramp, every hand extended to her, and Chrisean Rock chose the fire every single time. So slide down to that comment box and tell me your verdict. Was Dean the Great right for putting Chrisean Rock out of his warehouse in front of God, AB, the production team, and the entire internet? Or do you think Chrisean Rock still deserves chance number 20 from some poor streamer who hasn't been watching? Do you think AB is going to keep working with Chrisean Rock after this, or do you think AB has quietly closed that door too? Do you believe those text messages Chrisean Rock showed were real, or do you believe Dean the Great when he says he does not even have her number? And most importantly, which streamer do y'all predict is going to be next? Because you and I both know Chrisean Rock is not going to sit down. Chrisean Rock is going to reload, repackage, and roll up on somebody else's warehouse next week with a whole new production to burn to the ground. Drop that name in the comments, sis. I will read every single one, I will react to every single one, and I might just make the entire next video off your predictions. Until then, keep your studios locked, keep your NDAs printed, and keep Chrisean Rock's number blocked. I'll catch y'all in the next one.